because
Fair enough.
people expect certain things from Pixar and they're still very much loved. So
Fair enough. So quick some subcontext before we jump into this. Kind of interesting. And we don't have to go on a huge rant here because we definitely can if we're not careful. But Raya and the Last Dragon, box office wise, actually opened lower than Tom and Jerry, which I think is kind of interesting. But obviously,
Oh, God.
the big caveat to that being, it's because it was on Disney Plus.
True.
So it's an interesting idea, or it's sort of an interesting, what do you call it? Like a benchmark for where we're at right now as far as people's willingness to go to the theater if they have something that can be streamed.
do you have any desire to watch Tom and Jerry?
I mean, I would watch it. I wouldn't pay $30 to watch it. You know what I mean? If this is another $30 movie, I don't know that it's
I don't
worth
know.
that.
I don't know if you saw. I'm pretty sure it was Johnny B with What the Flick Reviews, but he reviewed it.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm pretty sure he gave it like 1 star. He was like, it's unwatchable.
No.
I was like, I don't want to watch it now.
Oh no, yeah,
So,
I'd take
Johnny
his
B.
word. Yeah, Johnny B. Shout out to What the Flick Reviews. I would take his word for sure. So if he says it's bad, which we'll verify that, but if he says it's bad, people. I would watch if I had a kid, no doubt. We'd
Sure.
be watching Tom and
Sure,
Jerry.
of course.
If it's just gonna be me and my wife, nah, I don't think so. But just sort of an interesting point, and again, not to digress too much, but something for the viewers out there. Raya and the Last Dragon actually did worse in the box office than Tom and Jerry. Obviously, revenue-wise, I'm sure Raya and the
Now,
Last
Tom
Dragon
and Jerry, you're
probably
saying
did
opened in theaters. Is that what you're saying?
open in theaters.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Gotcha.
But I think it's interesting to say that enough people have Disney Plus, and it's just so much easier, especially right now where things are still kind of teeter-tottering back and forth between is it safe, is it not safe?
I bet you
have the
anything.
option.
Sorry, go ahead.
What'd you say? No, I was just gonna say I think most people, when given the option, are gonna stay home and do the Disney Plus route.
Yeah, it's really weird with the video lag. I can't tell when you're talking. So like right now, you look like you're ready for me to talk. So it's bizarre. So I am sorry if I interrupt you. But
It's all good.
no, I bet you anything that if you compare views, there will be more individual views for Raya and the Last Dragon than Tom and Jerry. But when it comes to money, the thing is, when you have 6 accounts available for Disney Plus, all it takes is one person to buy it, and then 6 different people, 6 different families can watch it.
True, that is
So-
a problem. That's sort of the other edge of that sword. The other side.
Like
of that.
I bought it, and my entire family watched it from my pocket. So
There you go. FBI, we got him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's right here. All right, man, let's jump into this thing. Sorry for the long intro here, guys. But Raya and the Last Dragon, we did a tutor review on this one a little while ago, and now
pretty much all there. Now there are, for me personally, there are 2 things that I didn't like about the film.
Okay.
And one of them being that it felt like, and I should not be saying this as like a 30-year-old man, but it felt too young at some parts. Like the world building aspect that they kind of put into the beginning, in my opinion, was taken away, and they come and pulled the rug out from under you when the dragon was making references to like modern day jokes.
Yeah, it felt weird, right?
It did.
It felt weird.
Like even
The dialogue of the dragon didn't match up with where the
Exactly.
movie was.
Yeah.
It was a weird thing. But also, and sorry to interrupt you because
No,
I know
no.
you have more to this point, but it also, speaking to the age demographic, think of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Raya is she's like an okay age. She didn't make it feel young. And the villain, I don't remember her name either, didn't make it feel, Namari, I think,
Yeah,
didn't make it
Namari.
feel young. But think about who the other characters are. One is like a young boy
Mm-hmm.
who's like the owner of that boat. The other one is a baby, a literal baby,
Yeah.
surrounded by monkeys. And then there's only basically one adult in this whole movie.
Yeah.
And it's that guy, I think Tong. I think Tong was his name because I think Benja was her dad. Now I'm getting confused, man. I don't know.
that sounds
Because
correct.
Boone was the boy who like owned the boat, and I think Tong was the big guy. Who, by the way, is Benedict Wong, who is great in Doctor Strange and everything. He's like the sidekick guy.
Oh,
that was him.
He's the big guy.
Yeah, he's the big guy.
I had no idea.
Yep. Sorry, so I interrupted you, but I agree with you, and I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in
Yeah,
there
yeah.
that I think and then of course the dragon, who being the other character who acted like she was super young and kind of
Yes.
immature. So I will agree with you for everything they put into setting this up. when you finally get to meet the kind of band of characters, band of misfits that's traveling, it does make it feel like a young person's movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and the only reason I'm mentioning that is because you have movies like Finding Nemo or even Tangled, you know, with Rapunzel and all
Yeah.
that. They still feel as if they're a part of the world while still being funny and stuff. But the kid like popping and locking, it killed it for me. I didn't really need that. You know, and it's again, that's a difference in, you know, ages and taste, I guess, you know. But like I am really about immersion in the world, and this didn't immerse me in it, and I was a little disappointed at that. The dragons making the reference, you know, to like modern day jokes and stuff like that, completely pulled me out of it. You mentioned the baby with the monkeys, that felt completely unnecessary. Which
It made it feel like a cheesy DreamWorks movie, is what it made it feel
I
like.
literally
Like, it was
said
a
that.
character.
I said that as I
Yeah.
watched it. It did. It felt. It just. It did. It felt cheesy, like throwing the diaper and stuff. I was like, really, like, you know, like, is that really
Yeah.
like that's what's pushing the story right now? Is this baby? Um, yeah, I don't know. It just felt like it kind of took down. The whole movie was brought down by these attempts to make it funny when it could have been funny through the acting in the same way that Rapunzel and Flynn
Right.
were funny in that way. You know, like they were funny because of the characters and the actors they chose, not because the writing called for them to be funny.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. That's
The
very true. It
only
did start
other
to
thing-
feel like a younger movie.
Yeah. The only other thing, and that's just me from a world building aspect, I didn't like that the river was shaped like an actual dragon. Like, I think that it would have been cool if they had the actual names of the, but if it was more abstract, you know, like this part of the river that opens up is the head, and this part
Right,
over
like
here
more
that tapers
natural.
down. Yeah, just make it feel like it was literally the shape of a dragon. I was like, okay. You know, right there, right from the get-go when they're showing us the world, I was like, okay, that's a little weird, but I'm willing to look past it. And then we start getting introduced into these characters, and I'm like, there's so many adult themes here. There's so much here to kind of darken the plot and make it feel a little more realistic and immersive. And they took that and just kind of brought that down a peg by having a kid who dances. But then at the same time, it's like, when you get to know him more, you care about his character more because you learn why.
I liked his character. Yeah, I liked his character.
I did
for
too,
sure.
but I wish that they had just done a little less of that. Like they did
I
that
get
in
what, no,
Moana.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying for sure.
They did
For
it in
sure.
Moana with the kid in like that one part of the movie at the
The little
beginning.
greasy kid.
Yeah. And it's like they got the laughs in Moana, and so they were like, we got to do it again, make a whole character.
They had too many of those characters.
Yes.
It was like you can have one of those characters and still make it
Yeah.
okay, but when the boy is one of those, and when Con Baby is one of those, and when the dragon is one of those characters, okay, now all of a sudden you've got the whole band is like this kind of immature group, and the only person pulling them out of that is Raya, and then towards the end you get Tong, who doesn't come in until like, you know, the last third or last fourth of the movie, if you want to say the final quarter of the movie. But I completely agree.